he's gone. Just like that. A brilliant mind, extinguished on a rural road in North Carolina. But how could this be? Dr. Charles Drew, the man who revolutionized blood storage, the father of blood banking, was denied a blood transfusion at the nearest hospital because he was black. This is the story they don't want you to know, a story of innovation, sacrifice, and the cruel irony of prejudice. For centuries, Africa has been painted as a continent drawing from the well of global innovation. A place of need, where solutions are imported, not born. But the truth, as always, lies buried deeper. Beneath the surface of accepted narratives pulses a vibrant history of African ingenuity, resilience, and brilliance. A history deliberately obscured, conveniently forgotten, but impossible to erase. Today, we begin to unearth one such story. A story of a man who revolutionized medicine, a man whose work continues to save countless lives around the world. A man whose genius was, tragically, forced to navigate the treacherous currents of racial prejudice. Meet Dr. Charles Drew. Born in 1904 in Washington, D.C., Drew possessed an intellect that blazed a trail through the medical world. A brilliant surgeon and medical researcher, he saw a critical need during World War II, a way to preserve blood for transfusions, ensuring soldiers on the front lines received life-saving treatment. Before Drew, blood transfusions were limited by the blood's short shelf life. Transportation was a logistical nightmare. But Drew changed everything. He pioneered revolutionary techniques for blood storage and plasma separation, essentially creating the modern blood bank. His work led to the establishment of the first large-scale blood bank in the United States in 1941, and he later became the director of the American Red Cross Blood Bank Program. Drew standardized collection and processing procedures, dramatically increasing efficiency and saving lives on an unprecedented scale. However, even in a society benefiting immensely from his genius, Dr. Drew could not escape the pervasive grip of racial segregation. Astonishingly, the very blood banks he helped create were segregated, with blood from African Americans often being discarded or labeled as black blood. A concept scientifically ludicrous, yet tragically enforced. But here's where the story takes an even more unbelievable turn. In 1950, at the age of 45, Dr. Drew was involved in a single-vehicle car accident in rural North Carolina. Severely injured, he was rushed to the nearest hospital. Now, remember, this is the man who literally invented blood banking, and he was denied treatment because he was black, and he died of his injuries. Here is your Chapter 2, Why It Matters Now, for our Untold African Innovators documentary. Why does knowing these stories matter? Why excavate these triumphs from the dust of history? Because innovation doesn't happen in a vacuum. It builds. It borrows. It. Imagine, for a moment, a young mind in Lagos, struggling with a seemingly impossible equation. They are told, perhaps implicitly, that groundbreaking discoveries are the domain of others, of places far away. But then, they stumble upon the story of Philip Emeagwali. Emeagwali, a Nigerian immigrant to the United States, faced his own set of impossible equations. He wasn't trying to solve a simple math problem, he was wrestling with the chaotic flow of oil reservoirs. Traditional computers buckled under the pressure. But Emeagwali, drawing inspiration from the natural world, from the elegant efficiency of beehives, conceived of a radically different approach. He envisioned thousands of processors working simultaneously, a swarm intelligence mirroring the intricate network of a bee colony. And in 1989, he built it. The connection machine, designed by Emeagwali, became the fastest computer on Earth, performing 3.1 billion calculations per second. He won the prestigious Gordon Bell Prize, a Nobel for supercomputing. This wasn't just about speed, it was about a new paradigm. It was about seeing solutions where others saw only limitations. It was about an African mind, a Nigerian mind, pushing the boundaries of what was possible. That young mind in Lagos, encountering Emeagwali's story, sees a reflection of their own potential. They see that brilliance knows no geographic boundaries, no predetermined limitations. But here's the part they likely won't hear in their textbooks: Emeagwali's groundbreaking work was initially rejected by the scientific community. Why? Because they couldn't believe he had done it. They simply couldn't reconcile his background with his achievement. Wait, what? Charles Drew's story is a stark reminder of the brilliance Africa has always possessed, and the systemic barriers erected to contain it. His blood-banking innovation saved countless lives, yet he himself was a victim of the very prejudice his work sought to overcome. Today, as Africa strives for self-reliance and economic empowerment, Drew's legacy ignites a fire within us. It pushes us to dismantle those same barriers and build systems that uplift all Africans, regardless of background. To fully realize the continent's potential, we must acknowledge the past, celebrate our present innovators, and invest in a future where talent flourishes unimpeded. Drew's story calls us to action, to learn about Africa's own wealth blueprints. The only $27 at pornoafric.com/shop.html helps you and the continent to prosper. Drew's legacy isn't just history, it's a call to build a more just and prosperous Africa. What do you think? Did they hide the truth? Thinking face.